This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. 2 Arkansas schoolboys were ordered held late today to face 5 murder charges. If tried and convicted as juveniles, the 11 and 13-year-old suspects could go free before they reach their 20s. Just 24 hours ago, they allegedly turned their school grounds in Jonesboro into killing grounds and refocused public attention on school violence in America. CBS's Jim Axelrod is on the scene in Jonesboro.
They came back in tears today. The blood of 15 students and teachers still staining the sidewalks at Westside Middle School. Of them, 5 are dead.
We're just all shocked. We just can't believe it would happen here.
But it did. Chaos quickly engulfed Westside's campus as emergency workers frantically tried to save lives. Detectives spent today studying bullet holes in gymnasium walls, combing woods that provided cover for a massacre, and removing some fence that was in the line of fire for evidence.
This is the biggest and the most tragic I've ever seen, and I hope it's the last one I ever see in my career like this.
And here's what investigators now say happened. A fire alarm was pulled at 12:30 yesterday afternoon. Students and teachers filed out a back door into a grassy area bordered by a fence and some woods. Moments later, say eyewitnesses, 2 boys opened fire from the woods 100 yards away.
Gunshots were everywhere. Everybody was falling, screaming, crying. Blood was everywhere.
Most of the teachers and students were pinned in by the fence and may have been unable to get back into the building, blocked by a self-locking fire door.
I saw people falling, and it was just like, what is going on? And then I just ran. I mean, I didn't know what to do.
Jonesboro 911 received the first call at 12:36. More than 20 shots fired, people down. The first ambulances arrived 6 minutes later. The rescue workers unsure if the shooters had been captured.
There was a time lapse in there that when they got here until that, someone reported them that everything was clear. So, you got a little looking over your shoulder, too.
2 Westside students, Mitchell Johnson, 13, and Andrew Golden, 11, were caught a few minutes later with rifles and pistols. Relatives say Golden stole at least some of the guns from his grandfather, who taught the boy to shoot on this farm. Investigators say when they moved in on the boys, one leveled a rifle at a deputy before surrendering. And classmates now say Johnson had threatened violence the day before.
And he just said, I got a lot of killing to do, and you'll see tomorrow. And one of my friends, Jamie Clevenger, asked him, she said, am I one of them? And he said, well, you'll have to find out.
At a hearing late this afternoon, a judge ordered Johnson and Golden held in jail to face 5 counts of capital murder. Both boys will be tried as juveniles. And even if convicted, the way the law reads in Arkansas right now, by the time they're 18, they would both go free. Dan?
Thanks. For the students who survived yesterday's shootings, today was a day for remembering their friends and thinking about how much they had lost. CBS's Bob McNamara has that part of the story.
The Lady Warriors of Westside Middle School have always been winners. 6th grade girls who played hard and laughed hard and celebrated life. But tonight, the little girl holding the trophy is gone, and Paige Herring's teammates are in pain.
I don't know what had to happen to her. She would never hurt anybody. She was real pretty, and she didn't have no reason to die or nothing.
Now, the team is wearing white ribbons and thinking dark thoughts.
Candace, she got shot right in the side.
They all lost something yesterday. They saw young friends die, other friends hurt.
I just saw the dirt flying and everything.
They learned that a cherished teacher was gone.
She knew how to help us learn everything so that we would understand it. And if I did go back, I wouldn't want to go outside. I'd stay inside. I won't go outside.
Here, while people mourn the victims, they are also remembering the villains accused in this tragedy. They, too, were young and familiar faces in a town that is now divided over who Andrew Golden and Mitchell Johnson really were.
I got shot in the arm twice. One went in and it went back out.
Tristan McGowan was the only boy wounded in the schoolyard attack.
Mitchell, he gets in trouble quite a bit. He been claiming to be in a gang lately. And Andrew, he's my cousin, and we see each other every now and then.
He'd always been just fascinated by guns, because he'd play outside with his guns.
Andrew Golden's great-grandmother lived near him and says she's worried about him now.
He said he never shot nobody. He said, I never shot nobody. But,
And do you believe that?
I don't know, honey. I want to believe it.
She says her great-grandson was a nervous and sensitive, but normal 11-year-old.
Andrew Golden said that he was going to do that, and I didn't believe him because I didn't think they would do such a thing like that. I can still see all the people laying there, and I don't want to see it again.
Here they are holding on to their memories, to their families, to the belief that a good kid can't go so bad so soon.
11-year-old. You just can't imagine, can you?
In the town of Jonesboro tonight, they are still a team. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Jonesboro, Arkansas.
We want to report to you at least a little tonight about each of the 5 people, the children, who died in the shooting spree, as friends and relatives remembered them. Brittany Varner, 11 years old, was on the softball team. Her friend Natalie Brooks, 12 years old, also killed, loved to chat with Brittany in the outfield so much that sometimes they lost track of the game. Paige Ann Herring, 12 years old, quote, loved going to class every day. Stephanie Johnson, 12, loved choir, math, and her teachers. And then there was the adult English teacher, Shannon Wright, 32 years old. She attended the middle school herself as a child. She loved children, had a young son, was pregnant with her second child. She died, the teacher, trying to protect her students. President Clinton today called for a Justice Department investigation into school violence in the aftermath of the school shooting back in his home state of Arkansas. The president did so on his 12-day, 6-nation tour of Africa, where today's stop brought him to the killing fields of Rwanda and a promise of never again. CBS News White House correspondent Scott Pelley is traveling with the president.
President Clinton today apologized to the living and the dead. In a meeting with survivors of Rwanda's great genocide, Mr. Clinton acknowledged neither he nor the world did enough to stop the slaughter.
There were people like me sitting in offices day after day after day who did not fully appreciate the depth and the speed with which you were being engulfed by this unimaginable terror. The images of all that haunt us all. The dead choking the Kagera River. We are reminded of the capacity in people everywhere to slip into pure evil. And never again must we be shy in the face of the evidence.
In 1994, the most intensive massacre of the century swept across Rwanda. The government of the time tried to exterminate a rival ethnic group. 90 days of terror left 1 million dead and 3 million on the run. Even today, camps in Central Africa shelter the refugees. Many are orphans of genocide. Siku Bwavo's mother died on the march. What Mr. Clinton heard at the airport is the story that these people have been enduring for more than 4 years. This is a refugee camp at the crossroads of the Exodus, roughly where the borders of Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda meet. Even today, thousands of people remain in camps like this. Uraragi was 13 when he ran from a massacre. A rival ethnic group had called a village meeting, then opened fire on its opponents. Where are your parents?
You're also in that meeting.
Now he is alone in the world, but he and the others refuse to return because despite a new government, killings continue. Today, Mr. Clinton warned the United States will move swiftly against genocide wherever it occurs. He also pledged money for the refugees of Rwanda in hopes of securing a future for those who have already lost their past. Scott Pelley, CBS News, traveling with the president in Kampala, Uganda.
Tornadoes have cut a swath of death and destruction in eastern India. The tornadoes touched down in a string of villages, collapsing buildings and burying many victims in the debris. At least 200 people are dead in India and thousands homeless. In Washington, Republicans on Capitol Hill added new fuel today to keep the White House under fire. They voted millions more dollars to keep investigating the Clinton camp in many directions, including possible impeachment proceedings. CBS's Phil Jones has the latest. Phil?
Dan, the cost of investigating Washington scandals went up by more than $3 million today. Over Democratic objections, House Republicans approved the additional funds to pay for investigations into illegal fundraising and to beef up the Judiciary Committee, which would be involved in any impeachment investigation of President Clinton. And remember Monica Lewinsky's mother? 6 weeks ago, Marcia Lewis left the courthouse clutching her stomach after a day and a half of what was described as emotional stress before the grand jury. Her lawyer tried to get her excused from further appearances. Today, she was back again, asking the judge to dismiss her from further testimony about her daughter. And again, the judge refused. A psychiatrist who is frequently used as an expert witness in court testified, but today's arguments were made under court seal, and Lewis's attorney, Billy Martin, would only confirm that Monica's mother remains a grand jury witness.
Marcia Lewis would like me to note that in love and support of her daughter, Monica, through all of this, she would look forward to making a statement that explains her views of this matter.
The independent counsel is trying to determine whether Monica Lewis's mother would have been involved in advising her daughter on how to obstruct the investigation into her relationship with President Clinton. And there is still no word on when Monica Lewinsky will be called before the grand jury. Dan?
Phil Jones. On our CBS News Market Watch tonight, with mortgage rates down, sales of used homes increased 8.7% to a new record last month, but American factories suffered a big drop, more than 34%, in orders to build passenger jets. This due largely to the collapse in demand from Asia.